Hello there. I'm just making this video kind of go over the issue that was being had where with this the Razirnefraga I'm sure I mispronounced it, where you were having issues getting these models into Copper Cube with proper textures. Yeah, the problem I noticed, and here we'll try it, which was that they weren't textured in the traditional sort of way. So there's no real slots in, to put textures in once you bring it into Copper Cube. So initially I thought, well, you could just bake that out, and then when I bake that out to a texture in Blender, and then the more I looked at the way the model was set up, it just is beyond me. Like, I've so rarely have ever shaded or colored an object this way that to me it was just like more work to just try and figure it out than to just sort of figure out a workaround. So I got something going with the frog, as you see here. So I thought, make a video, and maybe we can we can do it, go through a setup with one of the other models, and it's not saved, so let's go. Where did I save this stuff? I think my computer's, oh, here we go. So animals, and here we go. So let's start with the blend file. So why don't we do the rat? It's pretty easy. So here we got it. This one's nice. It's only got 2 colors by the looks of it. So first things first is I'm going to do a few things. Actually, so I thought there was a way in Blender to show what keys I'm pressing. Oh, wait, is that here? I don't know. Either way, I'll try and just explain what I'm doing. So I'm going to select the armature, go to armature here, and I'm going to do a couple things under viewport display. First, I'm going to set them to be stick, so they're not as in my way. And then I'm going to put them in front so that I can actually see them. And not that it really matters, but it's kind of just nice to know. If they're there, I'll know where they are without getting in my way too much. And let's take a look at this. So as you can see here, there's a whole bunch of groups. These groups are kind of necessary for the rig, so I'm not going to mess with those. You see there's no UV maps, and there's, I don't know, there's no, this might be something, I'm not sure. Again, this is sort of beyond my skill set, so maybe someone out there will know what to do with them. So first things first is what I'm going to do is, because all these words just painted around actually the geometry, probably based on certain groups. So what I'm going to do first is actually I'm going to, let's create some groups, some vertex groups, if I recall correctly. So this is my UV layout setup, but I'm gonna stick to this window probably most of all. So I'm now in edit mode. I'm gonna if you press 1, 2, 3, you'll switch between vertex. 2 gives you edge mode, and 3 gives you face mode. I'm gonna hit C and just select the group that is all pink. And in this case, I'm pressing C to get this this option. I'm using middle mouse button to change the size of it, and I'm just going to select those faces. That looks pretty good. I'll do the same with the hands. I'm going to just select all those faces, because you know what, they're all just the same color. So probably if this was multiple colors, I would have, like, and the hands are different, I would have just made the hands a separate group. But basically, because these are all the same, oops, I'm going to just select them all. And let's just see. So when you select, if you see, we'll let you select them, and when you've confirmed and you're happy with that, you just right mouse click and it'll go off. I'm going to temporarily go into, press Z and go into solid mode. I'll see I missed one here. Oh, actually you can see these in GL shaded mode, even better. Okay, so I thought for some reason I could only see the colors in material mode, but that might just be for the textures. So in this case I can see them in just regular, what is that called, solid mode, which makes my life a lot easier. So if I select solid mode and hit Alt Z, I can actually see through. So this will make actually selecting faces a ton easier. So I'm just going to try and make sure I select the right faces. Alt Z, oh, right mouse click, Alt Z will pop back into not transparent mode. What transparent mode will let you do is it'll let you scale, like select through the geometry. So I'm going to do that, Alt Z, and then hit C, and let's select the tail. And that looks pretty good. And here, let's just go into side view, into orthographic side view by hitting, like in your numpad, 1 will be front, 3 is the side, and I'm going to just select those faces. Yeah, and I think that's everything. Okay, so, oh, no, the ears. So let's do these guys. So now I got to be careful because I don't want to select the body as well. So I'm just going to line that up, hit C, and do that again. Alright, so that's pretty good. So now I'm going to hit 1 to go into vertex mode. So that'll select all those vertices. And I'm going to create a new group by hitting plus. I'll hit F2 and call this pink bits, maybe? Wait, what? Why didn't it rename that? F2. Oh, what the heck? Why did it? Weird. Okay, well, let's just double click on that. That's very strange. Pink bits. I have no clue what I just named pink bits. And then I'm going to hit assign. So now if I deselect and go select, it will select those guys, and then I'll show you some extra magic later. So let's go select those and go Control I for invert. Now the one thing you'll notice is that it doesn't select up to the edge there, so let's just quickly do that. We'll go into face select mode. I'm going to hit C, and it's going to select those all the way up to the pink bits. So let's just do that really quickly. It's not a lot of work, but you know, once you get used to it, it's not so bad. It'll make work down the road that much easier. So let's select those. Oops. I'm going to go into not transparent mode so I can select these without screwing up. Alright, there we go. So let's go into vertex by pressing 1, and let's make a new group, and we'll call this gray bits. Alright, and then we're going to hit assign. So so now we can just select those, and what we can do, what this makes it easier for us to do later, is I can hide that and then just paint the pink bits. Okay, hide is by pressing H. Alt H brings everything back, or say if I wanted to paint my gray bits, if I hit Shift H, it will hide everything but the vertices I have selected, and then Alt H will bring that back. So okay, so we got our group, our vertex group selected. That's pretty nice. Now, because this is so simple and straightforward, I'm just gonna, like, if this was anything more complicated, I would probably break these out into like and UV unwrap this the proper way. But for now, I'm just gonna do, I'm gonna hit U to unwrap, And then I'm going to do light map projection, and let's make it 0.2 margin. That is the gaps between control space makes it full screen. That is the gap between each polygon. So in this case, it's just the simplest. You know, there's proper ways of doing this, but I thought, you know what, like, these are solid colors. There's not anything extra fancy going on. This might be good enough. So, alright, so we got our UV layout, and now let's give this guy a material. This is now where we might want to, I use Notepad, so let's see if we can bring this in here. I'll open up a, so yeah, here you'll see, well, this was my setup for the mouse, for the frog. So why don't we just call this gray and then pink. So all I'm gonna do right now is, because I'm probably gonna just eventually at some point get rid of these, but for now I'm just going to take the hex value, copy this, and put that was for pink, right? Yeah. So that's for pink. And then we're going to do the same for gray. We're just going to get this. And I'm going to put that here. So I'm going to refer to this later. This just makes copying colors a billion times easier for certain situations. Anyway, so yeah, why don't we just get rid of these, because now I don't need them. And I'm going to create a new material, and we're going to call this rat. And we don't have nothing fancy going on here, so I'm just going to make this diffuse BDSF. And yeah, and so here we go. Now typically what we got to do is set up a couple things. We're going to now, so now actually that we did that, we see that he's got a UV map now. So we can use that just to make sure. I'm going to go, in the shader editor, so this thing, I'm going to go Shift A, and I'm going to put input UV map, and we're just going to put in the UV map that we created. And then Shift A again, I'm going to go texture and image texture. Right now we don't have a texture yet, but I'm going to plug this in. So now here we are. This is in our UV editor. I'm going to create a new image. This will be called rat text. I'll just leave it at 1024. That seems massively too big for this thing, but you know, let's just do it for now, and well, you can scale it later. Alright, so we're going to create new image, and that's what we're going to paint in. So simply put, this is where the magic happens. Here, why don't we do this? We're going to put the rat text on. Now I think we need to go, now we need to go here to be able to see what we're doing. Alright, so let's go into texture paint mode. Tool, and do we have, okay, yeah. So now what I'm going to do is just is make a couple of palettes. This is where having those numbers saved is useful. So I'm going to go copy that, and then I'm going to go into here and create a palette. So that's the way we can always just reference that. Here we go, sorry. And I'm going to put that value I saved here. Now this is our gray. So this is the gray exactly the way they had it. You can make this however you want, but you know what? You have to do this first, and then you create it. Sorry, now this is one weird thing. I don't know how to delete palette color. Okay, cool. So, alright, so we deleted that, we got that. Now we're going to create a new one. I'm going to create the pink. I'll copy this, and I'll create a new color and a new palette. So there we go. Alright, so now we have pink and gray. Fantastic. So we just, for a second, we're going to go actually into edit mode. And why don't we do the pink bits first? So I'm going to select those, and I'm going to go Shift H. And yeah, so this is all just the pink bits. And we'll go back to texture paint. We got pink selected. And oh yeah, there was something here. Where is it? Where is it? Advanced modes. Sorry. Options. Okay. So one thing we want to check is the bleed. And that is how when you paint this, it's going to add a little extra around each polygon. And now you want to know this because sometimes your bleed might be too much and you'll start bleeding into other polygons, and that could screw things up. Or too little and you'll start seeing weird gaps, and I don't know. I think this might be set from the last time I did this. 2 pixels I think will work with the gaps we made here with the polygons. And I disabled this because I think it makes it easier to sort of paint through geometry with this. Again, I don't do this too often, but you'll see, yeah, it's not bad. Like I don't think there's any gaps. But why don't we just make a huge brush? Sorry, the brush hotkeys is F to scale. Oh, this is another thing you might want to keep an eye on, because this rat is just solid colors and you're not doing any fancy texturing. This is like a way to control how soft or whatever your brush is. And in this case, we can just go with a hard brush. Like, we're not doing any fall off or any fanciness. So yeah, so it's basically like just like carpet bombing this thing with color. And I think that's probably pretty good. I don't see any blackness. And now you'll see each polygon has the color, the pink, all the pink stuff has color on it with a little bit of an overbleed. And that should be fine. That should, oh, but looks, I think we're missing something here. Now, the way I would find this, like how am I going to find what that polygon is if I go into edit mode, let's go select polygons. So I pressed 3 and select polygons. Is that I can just select, oh, here we go. I had to hit 3 in here as well. So I just select that polygon, and I'll just hit, oh, what the dealio? Yeah, sorry. This option here leaves all the polygons visible in the UV editor without having to select it out there. So let's try this again. There we go. So I selected that polygon, and then I pressed the period key on the numpad, and that will focus in on the face that you didn't paint. So let's go back now to texture paint mode. Hey, oh, it's on the tail. Damn. Okay, so it's moving because of the rig. All right. Anyways, there we go. Boom. It's done. That's fixed. All right. So let's go back to edit mode. And we'll go Alt H, and we're gonna just do the body now. So let's hit Shift H to hide everything else, and go back into texture paint mode. And this time we're gonna select the gray, and let's just paint this sucker. So, this isn't the smoothest, probably the most elegant way to do this, but once you know what you're doing, and it's all easy breezy. There we go. So that looks pretty good. Let's just check that texture. I don't see anything that seems weird. But you see, so like, yeah, the overlaps, they just meet up nice and clean, and that should be it. So let's go back to Let's go back into edit mode. Let's unhide everything just to be sure. And we'll go back to object mode. Okay, so now this guy has a material called rat. And he's got a texture, but may be forewarned, if I saved this file and closed it and then reopened it, this texture is gone. It hasn't been saved. So before we go anywhere, you have to go image, and we'll go save as. And why don't we save it? Where am I saving stuff? Here. We'll call this rat text PNG. We don't have any alpha channel, so I'm just going to do RGB, and then it's save this image. So now it is a saved thing, and I'm just going to, just to make sure, I'm going to select it and then say open there. So that should be that. Now the one other thing I did before I exported this as an FBX is I selected, let's select the rig. Now for some reason I have it already in pose mode. I'm going to go to my animation window, and it has it in dope sheet. I'm going to go into my action editor. Now I don't know if they had to do this, but I noticed when I did this on the frog, for some reason the first time I exported this, it didn't come with all its cycles. So I just going to double check that everything's there. Now 57. I usually set my timeline to be the longest animation cycle there. Idle seems to be the longest, so I'm just going to go idle, and I'll make my end frame be 57 frames long. And that should be good. So let's go to object mode, and let's test this sucker out. So I'm going to select the whole thing, just box select it. Let's go file, fingers crossed, file, export, FBX, and I'm going to put this in my exports, and I'm going to call this rat. Now make sure you have selected objects only, and all the rest of the settings are pretty straightforward. I think they're fine. And let's give that a shot. I'll load up Copper Cube. And let's see how it goes. Alright. And let's close that. Let's delete that. And let's go File, Import, Animated 3D Mesh, Objects, Animals. Where are you? Exports, Rat. Let's keep our toes crossed. Alright, so it's got its animation cycles, as you can see. So here, let's call this rat, and let's put it at 000, and let's set it to idle. Now let's see how it goes with texturing. Oh yeah, well, let's check first. Okay, so it's solid. Oh, you know what? One thing I forgot. Okay, we'll check it. So it's got a texture slot there. So if I wanted, I could make him made out of cement. Oh man. Getting all my hotkeys mixed up. Okay, so there's our rat. So let's add a texture. Rat text. And let's apply that. And boom. Now I noticed it seems okay. I don't know. Yeah, there's some, at a distance you start getting these weird little cracks. But I guess as long as, you know what, if that is a problem, if this becomes a real problem, I don't know. Maybe it's just my graphics card. I don't know. If it becomes a problem, then this form of UV unwrapping is not going to work, and you're going to have to do it a different way, which I can show you too. So anyway, so yeah, let's put in a light. Let's make the rat behave dynamic. Now this is one thing I just realized, is that I have it in not smooth shaded mode. So let's just go, to fix that, just go into Blender, right mouse click on your object and go shade smooth, and then we'll export that again. And we'll export FBX. And when we call this rat _1, and that should be fine. Let's bring it in. Let's move this guy over. Animated mesh. Rat1. Boom. He just plops right over. Plop. Okay. Let's set him to plop. To idle. Materials. Let's apply that. Let's make him dynamic. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm not liking that weird kind of cracks that are happening. That's very strange. But basically that's it. The other way, I'm gonna save this and I'll try it with a different version. So why don't we call this rat? Oh, was it Control Alt S? No. Damn it. No. What is it? Save increment. I can't remember. We just call it _1. So the other option for this would be to do a couple of things. Let's go material preview. So the other option is to kind of break this out into sort of separate UV patches, I guess. So to do that, you can select some edges first and then hit U, and let's mark seam. Let's do this. U, mark seam, and let's just slice them down the middle. Not that it really matters, but mark seam. Yep. Now this guy is nice and simple. Oh, but his tail. Whatever. Let's see. Where is he colored to? There. I'm gonna mark this as a seam. Okay. U mark seam. Now let's yeah, we can leave that. And where are his feet? You know what? Let's leave that on. Now, sometimes if you double click, if the geometry is nice and clean, it'll like, if it's like a perfect loop, it'll loop all around. But because this goes to triangles and stuff, it means you'll have to do some hand clicking. But I bet you this in the end will give you a much cleaner rat. So it's my son talking. Let's do the back legs. Now these are nice and clean, so it's gonna loop all the way around. And let's mark those seams. U mark seam. Okay. So what that does now? So now if I were his nose. Okay. Oh, this guy is nice and clean. Okay. So we just select the whole thing. Let's go to our UV. Now you see, this is the quick and dirty way that I did, but this guy's nice and simple, so this won't be too hard. But now if you unwrap him, boom, they are like two larger patches of geometry. And again, because this is solid like colors, it's not gonna be super complicated. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select here Control L to like select all linked polygons. I'm going to select the face. Control L to select all linked polygons. I'm just going to move them into a better space. I'm going to select these guys. Control L, and I'm going to go move them up here. Just going to give them some space. And Control L, G, and that's good enough. Control L. I'm just going to move these guys over a little bit just to give a little bit of space between them. Control L, G. I'm just going to move them away. Alright, so let's repaint this guy. Let's do that by, where am I? Okay, let's select nothing. We'll select the gray bits, and we're gonna, why don't we do that first? Shift H, texture paint, and we'll do him. So let's just paint him. I'm gonna go to solid view, and I'm gonna go to transparent. Yeah, so looks like we missed a few spots. Let's see if I missed anything. Looks good and solid, I think. I wish I could paint in here, but you can't. Now I'm going to increase this a little bit, just because now that I've painted this once already. Did that make that a little bit bigger? Hopefully. Okay, so we did that, and I'm going to go back to edit mode. I'm going to alt, bring everything back, and then I'm going to hide. Oh! I'm going to hide that. Let's go back to texture paint. Let's select the pink. Let's paint all that. Now this is probably a better way to unwrap your geometry. Heck. And let's just see if I missed anything. I don't know. That looks pretty good. So let's go to edit mode, Alt H to bring everything back, and we'll go to object mode. Let's just look at this material preview. Okay, so why don't we try and export that guy, and then let's contrast and compare. Yeah, I mean, by doing this, it means there's like less seams, less areas where it can screw up. So let's go File, Export, FBX. We'll call this rat 2. All right, selection. All right, well, let's take a look. Let's import him. Let's move him out of the way, and we'll bring in a new guy. Import animated 3D rat 2. Idle. Let's make him, how will we make him dynamic? And let's import a new, oh, you know what? I haven't saved, I haven't saved this yet. So image, save as, we'll call this rat text 1, why not? And let's go get that. Rat text 1. All right. Let's apply it. Boom. Now you'll see. He doesn't have those like noticeable seams, like those little cracks and stuff. So then maybe this is the better way. It's just I was doing it fast and dirty by using that other form of unwrapping, but this just like cutting out seams is way better. Yeah, that gets so much cleaner. So yeah, there's got to be plenty of like just basic videos on unwrapping geometry in Blender in YouTube. So yeah, just find the simplest one. If you're like doing a sphere or a cube, you know, that's probably good to get you going, because like some of these videos can be way too complicated for just something like this. Anyways, I hope this was helpful. Good luck out there. I'll talk to you later. Bye.